Hi, but this is Joseph. I welcome you back. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that whenever I upload a new video or I stream live, you won't be missing out on my videos. And I hope you're gonna enjoy. Please follow my presentation or watch the video to the entirety so you can get the whole content. Today, we want to talk about immigrating or moving to Canada. And we know we have several ways to move to Canada or to migrate to Canada. But today we are specifically going to be talking about one of the most popular way of migrating to Canada, which is express entry. So the application process for skilled immigrants, the express entry is the application process for skilled immigrants who want to settle in Canada permanently and take part in the economy. So express entry is an online system that we use to manage applications for permanent residence from skilled workers. So note very careful that this way of moving to Canada is basically for skilled workers. Then there is steps to go through, to process as you process this express entry. So step number one is you have to find out if you are eligible. And there are two ways to find out if you are eligible for a program that is part of express entry. So number one, you have to answer a few questions to see if you meet requirements. And this is by finding out if you are eligible to apply, you need to live permanent in Canada and work in as a skilled job. There are 3 immigrant programs under express entry. There are 3 immigration programs under express entry, and each has different requirements. You will need about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out this form. You'll be asked questions about your nationality, number 2, age, language ability, family members, about your education level, work experience, and finally, details on any job offer. You have to receive a letter showing a job offer, that you have been approved for a job offer, or if you have been accepted to a job offer in Canada, and they have invited, and you have been approved for that. And based on your answers, we will tell you what programs you may be eligible for. So be as accurate as you can as you fill out the forms. If you are eligible for express entry, they will give you a detailed list of instructions on what to do next. This would include filling out an online profile. You have to create an online profile or online account. Based on this profile, if you meet the requirements, you'll be put in a pool of candidates for immigration and possibly invited to apply to immigrate. And very important, this information is for reference only, and no immigration decision will be made based on your answers. If you choose to apply, your application will be considered by immigration officer in accordance with the Immigration and Refugee Protection Act without regard to any outcome you attain through this questionnaire. So then you have, as we said, step number 1 is finding your eligibility, but that was section number 1, part A was to answer a few questions to see if you meet the minimum requirements. Part B of 1 is to lead the detailed requirement for each program you have to. And to be for the eligibility for express entry programs, we choose skilled worker based on their skills and ability to contribute to Canada's economy. So, in express entry, there are 3 kinds of applications. It manages applications for 3 economic immigration programs. There are 3 immigration programs are express entry, not very carefree. So the program number 1 is Federal Skilled Worker Program. This is for only those who are federal workers who are skilled. Number 2, we have Federal Skilled Trades Program. And number 3, Canadian Experience Class. Provinces and territories can also recruit candidates from the express entry pool through the Provincial Nominee Program, PNP, to meet local labor market needs. So we have several provinces in Canada, and they can independently recruit their candidates from the major express entry pool from Canada Immigration Department. So all the provinces can come and get the applicants according to the requirements, based on the requirements, and they can pick or they can select their candidates based on the requirements of the jobs they have from the state level or from the provincial level. So in Canada, they don't have states. They have provinces. I think that's exactly like what we have back in Kenya. And then to select a program to see detailed requirements, every program of the 3 mentioned, they have their own special and unique detailed requirements, specifically based. So, as we said, we have the federal skilled worker program. The eligibility to apply is a Federal Skilled Worker Express Entry Program. This program is for skilled workers with foreign work experience who want to immigrate to Canada permanently. So, how this program works? There are several things you have to know is like how this program works. Also, there is selection factors. There is the minimum requirements, which are skilled work experience, language ability, education. Then they also check on the proof of funds, admissibility, where you can live in Canada. Those are some of the factors that have to be considered before the approval or as they process this entry, this express entry program. So when it comes to express entry again, so we saw that there is composed of 3 programs, and this is the largest program, Federal Skilled Worker, and we are told this program has minimum requirements for skilled work experience, language ability, and education. You must meet all the minimum requirements to be eligible. And the selection factors which are followed under this Federal Skilled Program, their age, They have to assess your application based on age, education, work experience, whether you have a valid job offer. Remember that very carefully. You must receive an acceptance letter of a company or an institution from Canada that you have been approved, that you have been offered a job position in Canada. So that's very important. You must have that. Then English or French language skills. So you either have one. If you have two, both, you have an added advantage. Adaptability, how well you are likely to settle here in Canada. These factors are part of a 100-point grade used to assess eligibility for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. You earn points for how well you do in each of the 6 factors. And the current pass mark is 67 points. They give in points. They give the performance in points. So how we use selection factor points? We use the selection factor points to assess your eligibility for the Federal Skilled Worker Program. Once you are in Express Entry pool, we use a different system to rank your profile. We select the highest ranking candidates from the pool and invite them to apply for permanent residence. So this is very important. Once you have been accepted, the next level or the next step, if you do so well with the whole process, you're going to be entered into another pool where you can apply for permanent residence to live in Canada as a permanent resident. So you got, remember very well, you got very special benefits when you become a permanent resident versus people who are non-permanent resident or non-residents to Canada. The minimum requirement, skilled work experience. Skilled work experience means that you have worked in one of these national occupational classification job groups. These are the top cream of the job positions. Managerial jobs is skill type O or class O. Professional jobs, skilled level A. Technical jobs and skilled trades, skill level B. So managerial jobs are the top on the screen. That's the highest qualification. Then number 2 is professional jobs, which is in the middle. Then the bottom most level is the technical jobs. And these are mostly the basic skills jobs. The basic or blue collar jobs, but with skills. So you must show that while working in your primary occupation, you perform the duties set out in the lead statement of the occupational descriptions in the NOC. And the NOC stands for National Occupation Classification. Is the job you want to use for your immigration application called your primary occupation. So in the types of job, so your skilled work experience must be in the same type of job as the job you want to use for your immigration application called your primary occupation. So it have to match, it have to align with that. So you can apply for a different job, or different from what you applied for. So everything has to match. And then your experience must be within the last 10 years. Within the last 10 years. Then there is paid work, have been paid wages or earned commission, volunteer work or unpaid internship. Volunteer work or unpaid internship don't count. So you have to show a paid work experience for this process. Then you have to at least have 1 year of continuous work of 1,560 hours. That comes down to 30 hours per week. You can meet this in a new different ways. either by full-time, 30 hours per week for 12 months is equal to 1 year full-time, which is 1,560 hours. The equal amount in part-time work, for example, 15 hours a week for 24 months, 1 year full-time. So that is 1,560 hours. You can work as many part-time jobs as you need to meet this requirement. So you have to meet the job requirement, the hourly full-time aspect, or that factor of hours. And then you have to have a full-time at more than one job. Full-time at more than one job. 30 hours for 12 months at more than one job is equal to 1 year full-time, 60 hours. So part-time work experience, your skilled work experience must be paid work, including paid wages or earned commissions. We don't count volunteer work or unpaid internship. For part-time work, you can work more or less than 15 hours per week as long as it adds up to 1,560 hours. So that's the base time for these hours. 1,560 is the base hours. I mean, which determine, your full-time capacity of work. You can work more than one part-time job to get the hours you need to apply. So remember, or note very careful, that if you have to show part-time, you have to have worked more jobs, more part-time. You might work 2 or 3 more part-time jobs to meet the hourly requirement, the 1,560 hours, which is the base hours, to qualify for this program. We don't count any hours you work above 30 hours per week. So the base hours is 30 hours per week. So if you work 40 or if you work even 60 hours, they don't count. They count only 30. That's the average. That's the base hours per week. Then student work experience gained while you are studying may count towards your minimum requirements if the work was paid by wages or commissions, or if the work was continuous, no gaps in employment, and finally, your work have to meet all the other requirements of the program. Language ability, you must take approved language test in English or French for writing, for reading, for listening, and for speaking. And you have to get a minimum score of Canadian Language Benchmark, CLB, 7 in all 4 abilities. Language Benchmark, CLB. So that's Canadian Language Benchmark, CLB. That's the minimum of CLB should be 7 in all the 4 abilities we have just mentioned above. And you have to enter the test results in your Express Entry profile. You have to enter the test results in your profile. Your language tests are valid for 2 years after the date of the test result. They must be valid on the day you apply for permanent residence. Then we come to education. If you went to school in Canada, you must have a certificate, diploma, or degree from a Canadian secondary institution or high school or post-secondary institution. You have to show that. You have to have approval of that. If you have foreign education, you must have a completed credential and an educational credential assessment for immigration purposes from a designated organization showing that your education is equal to completed certificate, diploma, or degree from a Canadian secondary institution, or in bracket high school or post-secondary institution. Then we go to the proof of funds. As we had mentioned, that's another factor for these express entry, the proof of funds. You must show that you have enough money for you and your family to settle in Canada, unless, number one, you are currently able to legally work in Canada, and number two, you have a valid job offer from an employer in Canada. Very important. So admissibility, you must be admissible to Canada. And being admissible to Canada, what does that mean? What it means to be inadmissible. Some people aren't allowed to come to Canada. They are inadmissible. At Canada's immigration law, a Canadian immigration officer will decide if you can enter Canada when you apply for a visa or an electronic travel authorization, ETA, or when you arrive at a port of entry. Okay, that's very important. And there are different reasons. You may not, there are different reasons that the Canadian government may not let you into Canada, such as security, criminal, or medical reasons. If you are inadmissible to Canada, normally if you are inadmissible to Canada, you would be allowed to enter the country. They are very strict on that, on the border. If you have a valid reason to travel to Canada that is justified in the circumstances, we may issue you a temporary resident permit. Meanwhile, if you have committed or been convicted of a crime, you have a few options to overcome your criminal inadmissibility. And penalties for driving while impaired, that's another big part. That's a big disqualification to Canada. If you drive while impaired by alcohol or drugs, including cannabis, you may be inadmissible for serious criminality. This means you won't be able to enter or stay in Canada unless we issue you a temporary resident permit. You have to pay $200 Canadian dollars processing fee for the permit, and there is no guarantee either you'll be allowed to enter or stay in the country. Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. So, just give me 1 second. So we talked about the approval of funds we already talked about, and the admissibility. That's what we just talked about, how to be admissible to Canada, and also how to be disqualified to be admitted into Canadian borders. So where you can live in Canada, you must plan to live outside the province of Quebec. The province of Quebec selects its own skilled workers. If you plan on living in Quebec, there are some, requirements for that. There's some requirement to stay in Quebec. This is the application process for skilled workers who want to become permanent residents of Canada and live in Quebec. Quebec has a special agreement on immigration with the government of Canada. The province has its own rules for choosing immigrants who will adapt well to living there. So to immigrate to Canada as a Quebec-selected skilled worker, you must apply in the following 2 stages. So living in Quebec is like very different from living in any other province or state in Canada. So it's like you have to have some specific or very unique, they have demands, very special demands for that. There are more requirements, there are special requirements for you to live in Quebec as a foreigner, beside other states or provinces. So number one, you have to apply to the governments of Quebec for a Quebec selection certificate. The province of Quebec will assess you using its own rules. The certificate shows that the province of Quebec has accepted you as an immigrant. If the province of Quebec choose you and give you get you an approval for that, you must apply to Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada for permanent residence. These instructions are for your application for permanent residence only. So as you have seen, I think Quebec or Paris are very different or separate or independent entity in Canada. And you have, for you to live in or for you to be admitted in Quebec province, which is one of the provinces of Canada, you have to have some special requirement. So if you are, when you fill out your profile, we will ask the government or the institution, Canadian Department of Immigration, they will ask you where you plan to live in Canada. You don't have to settle in that province or territory. You can move around upon approval, or as long as you are in the program. You don't have to be stuck in one of the provinces, but you can move around as long as you are in Canada. If you are a provincial nominee, you must settle in the province or territory that nominated you. And the next steps, you have to get your documents ready and submit your profile. So if you have questions about Canada, I've been studying about Canada, staff immigration, you are free to post your comment on the page, and I'll answer your question next time. Please remember to subscribe. You are very valuable subscriber to my channel and to my presentation. So please subscribe. Subscription is free. And please don't forget to comment, to make any statement on the page. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Like my video, and I appreciate for that. Otherwise, you have a good day, you have a good night, and God bless you. Thank you very much.